If you clicked on this video, you're probably in the same boat that I was in a couple of months ago, or let's say a year ago. You're probably struggling to get along with people. You don't have that many friends. Your social skills are kind of shit. You're probably a recovering gaming addict, and you just want to go out there and get to meet some people. And, you know, there's a lot of places you can go for this. There's a lot of things you can search up on YouTube, but from my experience, there is one thing, and one thing only, you really need to get people to like you instantly. In my last video, I talked about smiling, which is a very important part of what we're going to talk about today as well. Smiling is kind of the basis to all of this. Smiling is really just the gateway to get people to open up to you or talk to you at all. Now we're going to talk about the next step of this, because once you have someone like wanting to talk to you, or once you ask someone a question and they respond, you obviously don't want them to feel like they're wasting their time talking to you. So what we're going to talk about today is showing genuine interest in people. Because if there's one cheat code that I can give you to skyrocket your social life, it's just be interested in other people. This is also going to be a topic that is discussed in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a good book. I think you should read it. I think everybody who struggles with social skills should read it. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. It's just an Amazon link. It's not an affiliate link or anything. It's just, you know, it's a link to the book. If you want to read it, if you want to buy it, you can go there. In the book, one of the biggest topics that the author talks about is being interested in other people if you want them to like you. And the reason why I think this is so powerful is because of another concept that I learned somewhere else. It is that 95% of thoughts a person has each day are about themselves. 95%. You know, we have about 35,000 thoughts in a day, and 95% of those are about ourselves. And I think just by hearing that statistic, you can probably imagine that it's pretty rough for someone to spare the rest of the 5% of their thoughts for somebody else, right? We like to talk about ourselves. You know, I like to talk about myself. It's the entire reason why I founded this YouTube channel, to be honest. And I like talking about myself. You like talking about yourself, but it only really makes sense, and it's only really enlightening if the other person is actually listening to you, because you've probably been in this situation, right? Someone asks you how your day was, or asks you how you've been, how the rest. You meet someone from school, right? After like 2 years of being out of school, haven't seen them at all, haven't talked to them at all. You meet them at the store or something, right? And they ask you how your life's been. You know, it sounds like a genuine question, but halfway through the conversation, halfway through like year one after school, you're telling them about all that has happened in your life. You realize that they're not really listening. You know, they're barely looking at you anymore. They're nervously checking their phone. They're kind of going like, that's cool, man. And that hurts, doesn't it? It really hurts, because I think in that moment you kind of realize, okay, I'm wasting this person's time right now. I'm making them feel uncomfortable maybe, and maybe I should stop talking. But on the other hand, that there's people that are genuinely interested in what you have to say. No matter how long and broad you talk about a topic, they will listen to you. They will listen to you all the way through. They will ask questions about the things you told them. They will genuinely show interest in everything you say. And doesn't a person like that make you feel more valued as a human? Doesn't that person kind of give you a feeling of, wow, safety, security? Don't you like that person more than the first person I've described? I think that's the big secret, you know? We like to talk about ourselves. And everybody does. But there's really, really few listeners out there. Good listeners. And if you want to become a good listener, if you want to improve your social skills, if you want to be the person that a lot of people like, I think all that starts with being a good listener. Showing genuine interest in people. Because if you can harness the 95% of the thoughts that a person has, it's way easier for you to harness the 95% than the 5%. That's just statistics, right? It makes sense. In the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, there's a quote. It says, you can make more friends in 2 months by being genuinely interested in others than you can make in 2 years by trying to get people to be interested in you. And that's true, I've found this. I've always been very self-absorbed, which is, I think not my highest attribute, not my best attribute at all, but it's been a part of me, and I've noticed that just trying to get people to be interested in you, talking about all the crazy shit you did and the achievements you got or whatever, like stuff that is absolutely meaningless to most other people, I found that rather turns people off. But after I read this book, I made it my mission I think I did it for about 2 months. Everywhere I would go, everywhere someone would strike up a conversation, maybe not even with me, but with somebody else, I would try to get into the conversation, try to get into the conversation and show genuine interest, because I just wanted to see if there's truth behind that. I wanted to see if that stuff actually works or if it's just a hoax. And it turns out it does. A person starts talking about their day and they tell you, I don't know, weather was shit, maybe their potato crops died or whatever. It doesn't really matter, Why not, if they go like this, oh dude, I was in the garden yesterday, I did some gardening, and but the frost 2 nights ago, they killed my potato crops, and you're like, oh, you have a garden? That's cool, what else have you planted? Instead of being like, okay, yeah, it's been cold. Being enthusiastic about it, asking them, dude, you're a gardener? Like, what else do you grow? Why have you started gardening? What made you do it? Just showing genuine interest in people, because there's a nice side effect all of this has. It's that you will learn a lot. If you want to be successful, if you want to be in the top of the world, if you want to have a network of hundreds of people that you can rely on all the time, you have to be curious. You have to be knowledgeable about a lot of things. And to get knowledge, why not just ask people, If somebody else out there knows more about a topic than you do, why not ask them? Ask them how they got into it. Ask them what made them do it. Ask them what they've learned so far. Just accumulate like this library of little tidbits and knowledge about topics and try to implement them in your own life. Say you got your own house, right? This is like planning for in the future. Like I'm not close to that at all. I don't know if I even want it, but maybe in 20 years from now, I have my own house, I have a family, and I have a big area around my house that I could do gardening in, but I have no idea. But I remember from back in the day, oh yeah, this guy told me about like the top 5 tricks to get rid of pests, or to how to protect your potato crops from freezing to death. And maybe you even stayed in contact with that person, and that person is a great gardener, and you're like, hey, dude, that guy probably knows how to solve that problem that I have with my garden. Maybe I can ask them. Maybe they even want to help me if I've done anything for them in return, or if I can do anything for them in return. Maybe they even want to help me. And isn't that just a great prospect? Just going out there in the world, every problem you face, you're not left to your own devices, or you're like left to having to pay someone to do it for you. You just have a network of people that can do stuff that you can't do. And I think the easiest step to find these people and to keep them is to be interested in them, to go out there in the world and just approach people with the mindset that everybody has something to teach you. Every person out there has probably something that they can teach you that you don't know about. And they probably have an area of expertise that they've accumulated over the years that you can benefit from if you just ask them. And if you show willingness to learn, they might even be willing to teach you more. They might even be willing to help you on your journey to do something, to start this new business, or to, do gardening, to grow an exotic kind of potato crop. It doesn't matter, right? That's not what you want to do, is not the point. What's important is that if you don't know where to go, to have someone that can help you. If you want to get better at something, that there's someone there who can one-on-one, who's like a good friend of yours, or like at least a good acquaintance, who can teach you a couple of things. This is one of the most powerful lessons that I've learned, and I think this has been ingrained in me ever since childhood, because my parents are really, especially my mom, is really good at this. No matter what the problem is, no matter what kind of struggle I had in my life growing up, every time I went to my mom and she was like, "Oh yeah, I could ask this guy from 2 towns over. He had a similar problem a couple of years ago, and I can ask him how he fixed it." Dude, it didn't matter if it was a medical problem, if it was a school problem, if I had trouble with insurance, or it just didn't matter. It didn't make a difference. My mom always knew someone who could help them. And the craziest thing about that is, every time I would tell her, "Yeah, okay, could you ask that person? Like, could you do that?" They were willing to help. They weren't annoyed. They weren't like going, "Oh, this person again, asking me for favors." They were willing to help. And wow, I think that's what did it for me. That's the point where I was like, damn, I want to be that person. I want to be the person that knows a guy or knows a person for everything. If I have a problem, I want that to be someone that can help me with it. And I want that person to know that they can rely on me as well. Like, if they have a struggle, dude, I'm willing to help, If they need help with something that I'm good at, dude, I'm willing to help. And I think for me, that is giving life advice, because that's what I like doing, And all of this starts with showing genuine interest in other people. So make this your mission right now. Write down into your calendar, write down a task, be like, that says, approach one person in your daily life, maybe at the gym or at the store or at work, someone that you've never talked to before. Like, if you overhear them talking about something that you don't know anything about, just go up to them and ask them about it. Don't be intrusive. Don't be weird about it. Don't go up like, "Oh yeah, I don't know anything about this. Can you please make it casual?" You're not a fucking klutz. You're not a robot. Just make it casual. You don't have to force it, right? But make it your mission that if anything piques your interest, anything that you don't know about, and you hear someone talking about it, just ask them a couple of questions. It doesn't have to be a half an hour talk that you have to lead with that person, and you might not ever use it, but just go out there with an open mind. Be ready to accept knowledge from other people about things that you don't know about, and watch the magic happen. I'm gonna assure you, within a couple of weeks, you're gonna have accumulated a bunch of people that know stuff about things that you don't know about. Not everyone's a winner, right? You're gonna run into people that are just super unpleasant and you don't want to talk to them anymore, and that's fine. That's an experience you also have to make. But I think for every person that is not worth your time, there's at least 2 people out there who know something that helps you. So I want you to go out there, I want you to find them, and I want you to come back and tell me about your experiences. Hey, thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope you learned something. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like, comment your experiences, and also subscribe so that my videos get recommended to you and maybe even your friends if they're into similar stuff. One more thing, at the top of the description you will find a link. It's to my Calendly calendar. There you can book a 1-hour appointment where I'm gonna give you life advice, and you can book it there and we can talk one-on-one in a Zoom meeting, and I can give you life advice. I can help you with stuff that you struggle with, be it social life, mental health, whatever. I'm gonna help you. All right, other than that, if that's nothing for you, don't worry about it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you listened to my video, listen to me talk, and hope to see you again. Goodbye.